Good afternoon. This is a breaking news weather update. We are tracking a tornado warning. Let's get right over to Carley with the very latest on what we know so far.
Here's what we know. We do have a tornado warning in effect until 5:15. This is areas in Rancho Calaveras. We're looking at the zone near San Andreas, just there south of Ione, areas like Jackson getting hit hard with some of that heavy rain in just moments. But what we're tracking here is a lot of lightning and some radar indication of potential rotation that may be happening. The population here, 19,000, over 19,600 people, 11 schools and a hospital that are potentially going to be exposed to this. So this is about a half-hour event. If you are watching this, stay in portions of your home, the interior of a closet, areas of a bathroom, maybe inside like a bathtub, something that's more interior. Away from windows is where you want to be. Because of this indication here of tornado potential movement here, we can see on our radar this purple zone here. This is where we potentially could start to see that affecting your home. You're probably feeling some gusty winds at this time, as well as maybe pelting of hail in this area. Now, this is going to last for about another 20 minutes as it passes through. We're hoping that it starts breaking up and kind of dispersing its way through the area. But if we take a closer look here, or actually I'm zooming out, you can actually see some of that hail in the direction it's moving. It's moving toward Jackson, so that's the next spot. And then we'll expect to see that kind of breaking up as it starts moving its way toward areas of the Sierra. We will expect to also see some more snow associated with this, and that's also going to potentially bring in some thunder snow for that area. Now, I do want to show you here in that purple. This is where we're seeing the most intense portions. As you can see, it's just there toward the north of Rancho Calaveras and toward the west of there. And this is just above 26, heading toward Wallace as well. Those areas also impacted, as well as Valley Springs. Now, take a look at this. 30-minute Rancho Calaveras, this area, and 45 minutes Valley Springs. This is where we're looking at the potential for this to continue heading its way toward the north. You can see Valley Springs here, Rancho Calaveras. The system, though, is toward just the west of this area, northwest, I should say. So it is heading its way up toward the north, and we do expect this to continue, again, like I mentioned, for the next 20 minutes or so. Some intense storm systems pushing through, and that's creating what we saw earlier, a funnel cloud, which we've been seeing pictures being sent into us for the last few hours or so. Areas of Stockton seeing some funnel clouds. Now that funnel cloud is starting to rotate for areas right around Rancho Calaveras. Now, it's not the same one. They're kind of just popping up here and there with these intense thunderstorms. We've received heavy precipitation today, not just for the snow areas of the Sierra with heavy snowfall. They are anticipating as much as 1 to 3 feet potentially in the next 24 hours, but also the thunderstorms forming early this morning. We saw them right around 10:30 a.m. and by lunchtime, just downpours across the valley. They do continue, and because they're continuing, it's still light outside. We're seeing a lot of afternoon heating. So what's happening is we're seeing the cumulus clouds starting to build their way up. As they've been doing this in the afternoon, that's continuing to bring in more intensity, as we're witnessing here, for potential rotations in those funnel clouds. And this is a dangerous scenario. If you are watching this and you are in this area, you need to find an area of shelter within your home, away from windows that could break, glass that could be broken or hurt you. And you want to just make sure that you are somewhere away from danger. Now, the funnel cloud video we saw earlier today, let's see if we can take a look at this here. Here it is. We are seeing there that funnel cloud from earlier today, and that there, without it touching the ground, is just a funnel cloud. But as soon as it does make its way onto the ground, you're going to witness what we are seeing in California is a weak tornado. That is not a tornado there. That is a funnel cloud. But what they are experiencing in Rancho Calaveras is a tornado warning, because that funnel cloud is getting close enough to even the ground, and they are seeing somewhat of a rotation for that area, or a radar indicated rotation. If that makes its way to the ground, it would be considered a weak tornado at this point, but a tornado nonetheless. And that's why a warning has been issued for the area of Rancho Calaveras, Wallace area, Valley Springs, and that is for the next about 20 minutes or so until about 5:15. That tornado warning will be valid. So please be careful if you are watching. If you have friends in that area, you may want to call them. Maybe they are unaware of what's happening outside their home right now. Give them a call. Make sure that they're somewhere interior of their home and kind of away from these windows, where we want to just stay safe if we can. At this point in time, we're just keeping our eye on this. Not seeing any rotation at this point, But what we are watching is the intensity of the storm system. Typically, when we see those yellows and orange, we know that we're looking at some pretty intense storm systems. Now that we're taking a look at that pink and that dark maroon shade, this is an intense storm system with heavy hail. We're also seeing very strong winds through these areas. We can see some of these wind gusts as high as about 50 miles per hour pushing through, and that's also going to disperse some very small hail for some areas. Those pellets may be pounding on cars. And again, if you know anyone in that area who may not be watching television, who may be kids or playing video games, make sure that they are aware that there's an intense storm system outside their homes. If they can't already hear it, you want to find a place interior to make sure you stay safe just for the storm system to pass on through. If you are in areas north of this, or at least I should say northeast, near Wallace, or at least a little bit north of that, you also need to be at least prepared for the intensity of the storm arriving for you. Now, what we can expect to see with this is more of that heavy downpour that comes through, very loud rumbling of thunder. And again, we're keeping an eye on whether or not we see a rotation happening within a funnel cloud and it touches the ground. At that point, that would be the weak tornado. Now, if we take away all of that and you just kind of take a look at the pink shades here, this is where we're seeing some of the intensity of that storm system. And then Wallace, you can see there just to the east off 12, Highway 12, an intense storm system. You see it passing right over that area. I know we're probably going to get in a flood of photos or video coming in from this area, seeing what we're seeing on radar, but at the ground level. So dangerous situation. These are the things we want to look out for when we mention thunderstorm chances in the day. This goes till 10 p.m., the thunderstorm chances, not the tornado warning. That's till 5:15, but thunderstorms, when we keep an eye on those throughout the day, we're warning you ahead of time that we do have that potential to see a funnel cloud or the potential for rotation, and that's what we want to watch out for, is that tornado warning. They're not as common here in California as we know, but when they happen, we want to keep you very informed.
You know, Carly, this is the thing. When this type of thing happens, we are on the air and we pledge to stay on the air until at least 5:15
Yes.
when that tornado warning expires. We want to make sure that anyone who is in harm's way is aware of this system that's moving through. And as you were mentioning, Carly, I cannot remember the last time that we've had a tornado warning in this region, especially San Joaquin County.
You're absolutely right. And the last time we actually saw a physical tornado hit the ground where it was actually recorded was actually about a year and a half ago or so. And it was near Davis, where we had some storm chasers kind of going out on the roadway and trying to catch it. They do happen here, but it's not often that they're actually hitting populations close to Rancho Calaveras. This whole area is being impacted. It has almost 20,000 people. So that's a large population for a tornado to move through. Typically, we do see them closer to farmland, areas of open land that there's not a lot of people near.
I know it's something that we have been warning about leading up to this storm. The sad thing is it's happening just as people perhaps are trying to make their way home. What are things that people can do, especially if you find yourself outside in this type of thing?
Good point. A lot of people either heading home from work or school right now, maybe caught on this highway right here. As you can see, just in this area, there is a Highway 12 as well as 26. A lot of people need to head home or get to their kids and family. If you are in a situation like this, of course, you aren't watching television. Maybe you're driving or in that situation. If you happen to be on 12 and they maybe saw something, the best case scenario at this point is if you are in the track of the path of the tornado, they usually just say, try to find a ditch. At this point, that's the last effort scenario. Cover, because even being in a car is extremely dangerous at that point. Cars get tipped over, they kind of get flown around. So that's the kind of situation you're in. That's not likely to be that, but you know what? Those are the scenarios they have in places like Oklahoma.
I understand we do have a live picture. This is out of Amador Springs. My goodness, just look at the ominous clouds there. The good news is we are not seeing any funnels touching the ground at this point, but it is certainly an ominous sign, is it not?
Yes, it definitely is. And what you want to take a look at these images here is those clouds. The ones that are kind of poking down more, they're trying to become funnel clouds, and that is the situation. There's several of them. Take a look. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. You can at least count 10 of them trying to push down. That is the system that we're looking at in the terms of wanting to become a rotation. And that is what's being indicated on radar right now, as they are or potentially could have that possibility of making their way down. And the ones that you see closer, further closer to the ground are those areas that you want to also keep an eye on. So we're watching this again for another looks like now 29 minutes for Rancho Calaveras left. Looks like 38 minutes for Valley Springs left in this tornado warning. So we want to keep an eye on those numbers there as the system moves up. But also take a look as we get a little closer look. You can see that the colors of that purple are now starting to fade off. You can see that the red now is in its place, which is a little bit less of an intensity, which is good news. But we're still seeing a little bit of a spot of purple there, and that is that intense downpour that could potentially be that dangerous factor.
So let's reset because we are giving you a breaking news weather update at this time. We're tracking a tornado warning for regions of our area in San Joaquin County. Talk us through what we know so far.
All right, here's what we know. The tornado warning was just issued a matter of 15 minutes ago or so. And what we're seeing with this is a population of 19,000, almost 20,000 people in this area, 11 schools, 1 hospital. And what we see through this track in this zone is the potential to see a tornado. The movement on radar is showing the likelihood of rotation. Although the funnel clouds or anything of that sort have not yet hit the ground, they do have a potential. And this is what we want to concentrate on because none of the other areas we've seen today have had this intensity. We have seen funnel clouds and we've seen them moving along. They just haven't hit the ground.
We do have that video of the funnel clouds. We'll try to get that for you in just a moment. But this is, we're going to be here at least until 5:15 talking people through the danger that is imminent because, and here's the deal, you hear tornado watch, you need to be prepared. But when you hear tornado warning, that means what?
Yes, that means you need to be very aware of your surroundings, what's happening, and be in a place that you're ready to find shelter if need be. If they let you know, hey, in fact, there is a tornado right now. This isn't just a watch out for it. This is a warning. Get ready. You need to find a place in case this rotation happens and it hits the ground. You need to be in a situation and a place to keep you and your family safe. And at this point, it looks like that warning that is happening until 5:15 is letting people know that they need to find a safe place. And you can see this is earlier from today, the tornado, or excuse me, I should say the funnel cloud. That is a funnel cloud. That is not a tornado because it has not rotated or touched the ground. And that is why we currently have a tornado warning in effect because of the potential for those funnel clouds to hit the ground. And if they do that, that is where we get the tornado. So if we take a look here, you can see that the movement of this now moving toward Valley Springs, sort of making its way away from Wallace. And now we're expecting that to start moving closer to Valley Springs. And we want to be careful, still off of California 12 there and moving off of 26. So everyone on 26 looking better, the rain easing up for them. And that'll continue shifting its way toward California 49 if the system heads toward the northeast as we expect it to. We do have potential for downpours at that point in time. Again, we have another 15 minutes or so for the tornado warning to be in effect. Now we're looking at 26 more minutes in Rancho Calaveras, 35 minutes in Valley Springs. And if we take a look at some of this, you can see that the red zone there is still intense downpours. What we typically see in a normal period of time is we get the greens. You always see that as the rain. You get the yellows, and then even the oranges can indicate thunder and lightning. But once you start seeing some of these colors here, where we're taking a look at right here, this is the tornado warning zone till 5:15. You can see that some of these zones here that you take a look at that are in that purple shade now, look at it's easing up just a bit. Cannot zoom in closer until I can adjust some of my radar screens. But if you take that close look here at Valley Springs, you can see that the intensity of the storm now hitting and moving toward that area. So that is what we're still keeping an eye on. Looks like some of this is already beginning to weaken, which is great news. But we're still going to keep our eye on that for you, making sure everyone stays safe. And of course, if you've witnessed anything and after the passing of the system, you want to send it our way, please do. We'd love to share that. But at this point in time, we're taking a look at that tornado warning for you. Now, 25 more minutes, Rancho Calaveras, 34 minutes, Valley Springs. As we take a look at the tornado warning zone, you can see it's just south of Jackson. So even if you are in Jackson and the tornado warning zone is just south of you, you still want to be very careful. You're going to be dealing with intense downpours as well as dealing with potential for hail, those very gusty winds. These are the kinds of winds that don't just blow your umbrellas over from your patio furniture set, can actually lift up some of those shingles on your house or some of those roofing tiles. So please be careful out there. Just make sure you're in a place that's safe and sheltered. And again, in these tornado zones, it's always the interior of your home. Do you have a closet that is on the interior of your home away from windows? Maybe it's a bathroom. Those are zones you want to be in when you are in a tornado warning zone, such as areas just south of Jackson, there, Rancho Calaveras, Valley Springs. I do want to check on some of these winds really quick here. You can see some of the winds are really starting to pick up just in this zone here. and the rotation of the winds, you can see we're seeing a whole different movement. Those are usually colliding winds, and that happens when we start seeing also a lot of rotation and movement. Now, some of the peak wind gusts today were right around 25 miles per hour for areas of the foothills, 35 in Marysville, and these were some of the zones, especially San Joaquin Valley, that saw some of the strongest peak winds today. So that's what we've been dealing with. And again, you can see some thunder and lightning just popping up here on our map.